Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name's Chris and it's fantastic to have you back with us for another video. And in today's video, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin. I'm going to talk you through other reasons why I'm still really bullish on crypto and Bitcoin, altcoins, the lot. Now, for me, the market's volatile, so make sure that you do your own research before making any investment decisions. I'm not a financial advisor, and this should be treated as educational purposes only. So, never go FOMOing in and stuff like that. Now, again, expecting some more volatility, expecting a bit more of a pullback in the market, potentially depending on what's said around interest rates later today in the US. So yeah, lots going on in the space, but I don't feel that it's a bear market. I think it's just a bear phase. Do let me know what your thoughts and opinions are in the comments below. But we'll have a look at the price. We'll have a look at the artificial intelligence and machine learning to see what that's saying about Bitcoin. And overall, I want to sort of move away from the price and sort of give some more input as to why I'm still really bullish on cryptocurrency in general, right? And I've done videos on the stocks that some of the wealthy people and these investors that outperform the majority of investors in the space, and where they're putting their money, and it all seems to be sort of filtering into stocks around metaverse. So yeah, for me, that's one reason why I'm bullish, but there's many other reasons, and we're sort of going to get into that in this video. If you like this sort of content, mash that like button. It really does support the channel and it's much appreciated by us. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video. And don't forget to jump in our Discord. Link is in the description of the video. It's free to join. We are looking to sort of talk more about our NFT project that's going to be going live at the end of February, so do check that out if you're interested. We are doing whitelisting for our Patreon all access members, so do check out the membership on Patreon. Again, link is in the description if that is of interest for you. So let's get down to the desktop. Let's have a look at everything Bitcoin and talk about why I'm so very bullish. Okay, so we start at coin market cap. We'll get the price aspects out of the way to start off with. So Bitcoin at 37,977. It has been above 38. It just pulled back as we were starting this video. Now ultimately there's potential for some more volatility in the market, mainly around the interest rates, so we need to keep an eye on the news coming out of the US. But ultimately I'm not really too concerned about the price movements on the really small sort of viewpoint. Right now, if you have a look over a long period of time and you zoom out, ultimately for me this is going up in an upwards sort of motion over time. When you look over a long time horizon, this will just be a little blip. It looks quite bad on this this chart here, but ultimately I'm not too concerned. It will kind of look like something like this in the future on this same chart 5 years from now, for example. So let's have a look at the artificial intelligence and machine learning at advice.io. So currently ranked C3, which is severe issues, and it's pulled back an awful lot, right? The 7-day change is minus 11.02. The fear and greed index is at C1, so that is pulling it down. Your Sharpe ratio is D, your Amiad ratio is D, your moving average is D, and your firm profitability is C2. Now I'm going to apologize now, but C2 isn't particularly good, particularly when you look at the overall ratings, extremely poor. You're used to seeing sort of A1s on this channel, and there's a reason why we don't invest a lot of our capital in Bitcoin, right? I kind of see it as a store of value. I don't really see it as this asset that's going to make me 100, 200, 500% my my money, right, in a short period of time. And when I say short period of time, I'm still talking years, not weeks. Now I prefer to invest in altcoins because Bitcoin isn't going to make you ultra wealthy unless you got in super early. For me, it's all about, making your gains on the altcoins and then storing your wealth in Bitcoin once you've accumulated it. That's my viewpoint. But do let me know in the comments below whether you sort of agree with that. I'm not trying to upset any Bitcoin maxis, but ultimately, money is in altcoins, in my humble opinion. Right, moving on. So I wanted to cover some of the news articles, right, and sort of show, I guess, the agenda from the wealthy, because ultimately the wealthy are the ones that influence the news articles. So IMF urges El Salvador to remove Bitcoin as legal tender. Again, this is all about control in my eyes. It's going to be interesting to see how things evolve with this. Ultimately, I kind of feel that they should stick to their guns and keep Bitcoin as legal tender. But that's me with my own agenda, right? Okay, so Russia's finance ministry opposes central bank's call for ban on crypto. So ultimately, there was news articles that came out saying that Russia may ban crypto, and then a few days later, Russia may allow crypto mining and gold-backed stable coins. For me, you're either going to ban it or you're not. Again, it's just people moving the market, in my humble opinion. But I wanted to sort of raise this. Obviously, you've got all the stuff going on around Russia potentially going into Ukraine, and again, that's moving the market in a negative way, in my humble opinion. So we just got to see how these big macro events in the real world can continue to happen, and how they impact the markets. But I wanted to move to stuff that I really look at when the markets are down, and ultimately what I'm looking at when I make some of these investments. I don't really talk about this too much, but it is around adoption. Now, Bitcoin enters the growth phase of the S curve, and I think this is really interesting, right? So when I look at Bitcoin, yeah, we're probably somewhere around here, I would have thought, still in that early majority, the 40% mark. But some of these altcoins are the 2.5%, the 10% early adopters, and this is where you want to really be to make some of the huge gains. That's why we call out projects like Multivac, why we call out projects like Polyswarm and various others, just to mention a couple, right? Those are kind of in these brackets here, right? And I would say Harmony was very much in this bracket when we first started talking about it. VeChain was, Cardano was, and now you're sort of in this sort of section here, right? So I think the point that I'm trying to make with like charts like this and the things that I look at is we're so early. So these small movements in the market in the short time frames, they don't really matter to me too much, because I kind of feel like we're going to go all the way up here to this 10%, right? And there's a lot of price discovery that's made in these phases. So I'm not too concerned. Here we go. So Bitcoin internet growth, examples on the chart, the length of time that it took, and again, we're seeing like a 4-year period. So by 2025, we're going to have 1 billion users on Bitcoin. Just as an example, it's taken 7.5 years for the internet to do that same growth curve. So for me, the 4-year growth curve, again, I think this is something that we're going to see. I think it might even happen faster, with the adoption of metaverse and various other, things that are happening in the space, right? So these are the sorts of things that I'm looking at. For me, it's about knowing where you're going. It's about knowing what you hold. This is why we pick projects that have got fantastic utility, great tech, a solid team, and they've got a really strong community. These things, these fundamental things that we look for in these projects, in our eyes, we hope would mean that they have longevity to the project, which means they'll be around in 5-10 years time. We also keep an eye on the fundamentals. We make sure they don't change negatively. If they do, then we get out. But we've only seen that once so far. So so far so good. But these things you have to keep an eye on. And at the moment, the volatility in the market is to be expected because we're in that really early phase here, right? Moving on, you've got the technology adoption curve, right? So, you know, I talk about crypto being, the fastest growing, technology in history, right? So I think, the average yearly growth for the internet was about 30%, give or take. And you're seeing about an average of 80% growth in crypto every year currently, right? And we're probably somewhere around here now, right? So you've got your internet curve here, and you've got your dates across the top, and then you've got your crypto dates across the bottom. So ultimately, for me, it's fantastic growth. We're on track to be where we want to be, over 1 billion users in crypto. That should happen, no later than 2030. According to this graph, but again, it's something else to look at, and for me, it's about where we're going, because there's lots of price discovery in this growth. When we have a look at the common crypto, how common is crypto, should I say, sorry. So you can see here the percentage of people using it, right? And again, I think that shows you how early we are in this space. So, for me, I'm really sort of focusing in on the growth, as well as looking at the project fundamentals, just to make sure that everything stays on track. Ultimately, we do say on this channel that it's important to take profit, along the way. One of the things that I practice myself is, making sure that I get my initial investment out of the market at a reasonable time, still leaving lots of crypto on the table for additional profits. Now I'm sat here, all of my initial investment out of the market plus more. I purchased the Range Rover, cash, utilizing my crypto gains, just taking a bit off the top of the portfolio, and all this stuff sets me up really nicely for pullbacks like this in the market. I have capital on the sides, which I've been sort of putting into the market on this big pullback. Ultimately, the projects that I invest in, I research, and I look at in great detail. I spend time talking to the teams of these projects before making my investment decisions. And if I like everything, and all the questions that I have that I can't find the answers to are answered by the team, I put my money where my mouth is, and then I start talking about it here. Now, for me, I keep an eye on all of the fundamentals of these projects, making sure timeframes and goals are taken out within the roadmaps, looking for fundamental changes that I dislike, looking for the quality of the team, and making sure that they're consistent in what they say and what they do, and how they navigate the crypto space. All this stuff's really important. Now, if you know that you've invested in a solid project, and you know where we're going, and it all fits and it all lines up, then ultimately these pullbacks, are opportunities in my eyes. Now, it will get to a point where perhaps they're not an opportunity, and I guess it really depends on you as an investor. It depends on your sort of time frame that you're looking to invest over. For me, I'm 5-10 years plus. So these small macro events, they don't really faze me. You just have to look at the big companies getting into metaverse, the types of people investing in stocks, and their track record, and that everything's focused in on blockchain technology, metaverse, gaming, and all of these sorts of things. So for me, the crypto blockchain landscape looks really positive right now. Lots of institutional investors getting in. There's lots of manipulation, all of this sort of stuff. We're waiting on the regs. I think once we get all of this stuff, this is going to snowball. And I think the growth that we're seeing for crypto at the moment and blockchain technology is only going to speed up. It's not going to slow down. But do let me know in the comments below whether you're aligned with my thoughts and opinions on the space. Really interested to get your views and opinions. I love reading the comments. Obviously, none of this is financial advice. Make sure that you don't FOMO in. Make sure that you only invest what you're willing to lose. It's a very volatile market. With all that said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, mash that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tapping that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.